had a strange life. My parents, and my father especially, were fighting their own demons, so I grew up in a dysfunctional, confusing, abusive home. And growing up, I always thought that once I left the house, I'd be immediately free to live a life of truth and beauty. But like my sister said to me, when you come from where we come from, you don't come out shining. So yeah, I was depressed. I was struggling for a long, long time. Lots of substance use. People think that substance use is a problem, but from the perspective of the user, it's an attempted solution that keeps you going. Honestly, I'm not completely sure what turned it around towards healing and slowly becoming whole. My daughter was born, and that's the biggest incentive to try to do better. I think I was lucky. I met the right people. I was able to trade my bad habits for theirs. And one of those habits was to serve in leadership roles, which I've been doing for 13 years now, and that's been an integral part of my ongoing recovery. As president of Carleton, I feel a responsibility to be truthful about my own mental health journey so that the students, staff, faculty who are struggling know they're not alone. So to everyone that come from a traumatic past or are struggling currently, I want to say, you're stronger than you know, you deserve help, and even with 7 arrows through the heart, healing is always possible.
Good evening. My name is Erin Oliver, and I'm the Vice President of Health, Safety, and Sustainability at Modern Niagara. On behalf of Modern Niagara, I'm honored to present the 2021 Transformational Inspiration Award to Dr. Benoit-Antoine Bacon. Congratulations, Benoit, and thank you for the courage in sharing your story.
All right, Dr. Benoit, right here,
Hey,
to
Rick.
my left. How are you?
I'm good, yourself?
Very good. But all these stories have been so incredibly inspiring. Your story here is none different. I want you to describe your childhood, what you were able to overcome back then, and as you got older in life, and then the relationship with your parents, your family in general.
I've been thinking about my parents a lot this week. You know, they've both passed away now. They were fighting their own demons, their own history. And as a result of that, they were not in the best space to raise children or to build a family. So it was dysfunctional. It was confusing. It was parts of it were tyrannical and abusive. It was not fun, right?
Yeah.
And when you go through that, you think in your mind, you go, as soon as I'm old enough, I'm going to get out of here and lead a beautiful life. But that's not what happens because you've been conditioned to think about yourself in the wrong way. You've been conditioned to think that you're a shameful person or an ineffective person, and you've been conditioned to think that the world's dangerous. And if you're ashamed and afraid, you're not prepared to create beauty in the world. In fact, you're suffering and you need help, and that requires a journey to heal from that.
But in days like that, you also resort to things that take you through and get you through those days, right?
Sure. So that's a good phrase, to take you through, right? If you use substances, people will tend to say, well, that's a problem. But from the perspective of the user, it's an attempted solution. You don't choose a beautiful life for the substance. You choose terrible pain and possibly choosing to end your life for the substances, right?
So that brings me to the question, when did you realize along that journey back then that the substance abuse was becoming a big problem? Well, after it becoming a solution in your mind, when did it?
Again, you know, it's not that it's a problem. It's that it's what you have to do to keep going.
Or hitting a wall, or coming to the end of a road.
For me, it went the other way around, right? I think through a chance of luck and meeting the right people, I was able to start trading some of the things that I was doing for some of the things that they were doing, like running, I think I mentioned the video, or singing, or serving in leadership roles. And then the veil of depression starts to lift, and then you realize, you know, you might not need to drink or to use substances. And it sets about a virtuous circle and a journey of healing where you realize at some point that you don't need it at all. That's how it happened for me. But I'm very lucky. You know, I'm blessed.
Yeah, no doubt. This young man to my left is the president of a major university in this country.
Isn't that surreal?
That's amazing, first of all. Wonderful stuff. 3 years ago, you became president of Carleton University.
Yeah.
And along the same time, you've been very public with your life and what you've lived through. What was your inspiration for taking that approach to things?
First, let me say, I think that could have only happened at Carleton University, and that tells you something about the nature of that community. I was honest in my interview. I thought they're looking for a president. They deserve to know who this president is.
Yeah. Honesty is the
I
best
told
policy.
that story in my interview, and they called me back to my greatest surprise. I was shocked. They called me back, and then they offered me the job. And to me, it was important to open, honest conversations about mental health and substance use, because I know that in our community of 40,000, a lot of people are struggling. And that's a place where I've been. And I'm always hoping that when they hear me speak, they realize that they're not alone. You don't have to suffer alone. And that they deserve help. Everybody deserves help. And especially healing is always possible.
Would you have loved to have been a fly on the wall after your meeting was done with those board members to hear what they were talking about?
Oh, I have a good sense of what went down there. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. You've admitted...
It's funny when you think about it.
Yeah. You want to share it with us?
Well, I can't. It's a question for my board chair, I guess. But that,
We'll get them in here next.
People expect a certain set of answers at an interview, and you can always tell people what you think they expect to hear, or you can say what is important to you. You can go on a limb and say, I'm going to tell the truth, and you can make of it what you will. But it's to their immense honor and credit that instead of saying, that's not what we expect, they thought about it, and they decided they'd go with it. To me, that's incredible, and that tells you everything you need to know about Carleton University.
You've inspired so many people out there to approach a job interview, and you got to be genuine, you got to be real, you got to tell the truth. Honesty is the best policy.
I'm not recommending that anybody follows my example. Would never do that.
Because I'm assuming there's some lying going on when it comes to job interviews. Anyway, let's move to the next question.
Sure.
You once admitted that a lot of your academic success, you achieved and you were in a bit of a fog. How do you think you made it through those days?
I admitted that. No, it's just a fact. I guess I was lucky. I went into psychology, not by chance, right? When you come from nonsense, I was raised in a place that didn't make any sense, so you're looking for sense. And when you start reading a psychology textbook, it tries to explain to you how people think, how the world works. And that's a mind-blowing experience, right?
Sure.
So I was lucky. I studied psychology and then neuroscience. In some of those years, I was in pretty bad shape, but people were extremely patient with me. My thesis supervisor was extremely patient with me. My colleagues were patient with me. My family was patient with me, everybody. And I got through. I'm very lucky. And then got a teaching position, found some meaning through teaching, and suddenly started to feel better. And the last 10 years have been completely surreal. I was a professor of psychology, which is a job that I enjoy. Took a leadership role as chair of psychology, and for 10 years, people just keep calling me to offer me bigger jobs, so I take them.
Very good. Can you describe the job that you do now at Carleton University as president, since you took it?
Like what a day feels like?
Yeah.
Well, I wake up at 4. I work from 4 to 6. I prepare my day. Then I work out till about 7:30. Have a bit of a breakfast, and then start the day with a touch base with my team.
Wow.
And these days it's Zoom meeting all the way through.
Sure.
It's very difficult to describe. There's lots of decisions. It's $500 million a year operation. About 5,000 employees, 32,000 students, and lots of contacts around the world. So it's challenging. There's always something new.
It sounds it. You get some sleep in there somewhere too, right?
Well, 8:30 to 4 every day.
Okay, good. 8:30 to 4 every day.
Yeah, nothing good happens after now.
No, it doesn't. I know. Well, we want to thank you so much for being brave enough to share your story with us, share it with the world, basically, because it's out there. And congratulations on this Inspiration Award. You truly do deserve it. And your students at Carleton University are lucky to have you as president.
Thank you so much,
Again,
Rick. I appreciate it.
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.